Chapter 2. The Common Life. In everyone's life there comes a time of questions. When you know everything you have heard about God, religion, even love is completely false. We try to revive our faith, and end up running a rat race. We try to inspire and we end up racing to meet deadlines and feeling confused and uninspired. I know that I did this on a day-to-day basis and I could not continue to stop myself from being inspired and giving that negative energy to others. So, I did what any modern person would do. I went into a deep depression. I would sleep all day and think of any excuse to not take action. Even worse, my job in entertainment put me into a tailspin of alcohol and abuse to my body that could have been irreversible. It's a vicious circle of life that seemed inescapable. I was born in a really small town in Florida. My family was poor and full of drama but also so much love. Change was a way of life. My sister and I seemed to be on a roller coaster together that was as crazy as two souls could ride. From screaming fights to trips to Disney World. After our parents' divorce we had an alcoholic stepfather that was for me a demon in human form. We were moving back and forth between parents and towns and trying to take care of our two younger brothers, which we were completely unequipped to do. I know that kids don't remember a lot of the good moments and tend to focus on the bad, so really there were a lot of great memories. More so, there was a true molding of my person. I learned about loss and yet, I learned how to appreciate the sweet moments in my relationships. I learned so much about pain and struggle that I now had an easygoing and loving nature for difficult times, people and situations. I learned through certain therapies and studying the human condition many ways to thrive in life and move from a past mentality to a now thought process. Yet, here I was lonely, poor, and struggling to get out of bed before 2 p.m. Lost in a depression that seemed endless and pointless. Then one day I realized. This was not a depression of my self-worth. I know I am worthy. I know I am talented in that I can inspire the world I exist in. So why do I feel this way? And I realized it was a societal depression. That the boundaries and struggles I felt were from the bills, taxes, the gas money, insurance, the frickin' cell phone bill. I could literally keep going and going. But I think you get the point. Our deadlines, and our mundane everyday tasks weigh us down and create a shell of our real selves. On the other hand, we don't want to live in tents and hunt for food. I was also in the middle of a serious back problem which was crippling and painful all of the time. Playing concerts at night and working a 50-hour weekday job I would having to lay down immediately after to soothe the pain shooting up and down my leg and spine. I was alienating friends and my love at the time. I was lost and living in squalor in an old apartment behind the house I had lived the first 10 years of my life. I was a mess inside and out. Looking back, the anger was strong inside me. Yet, I knew truth as well. I was more angry at myself than anyone. Then I realized that I had an ace up my sleeve. A deep-seated knowledge that I had gained from a transformative meditation I had done called rebirthing. I would lay down my hands at my side. I started what is called continuous breath. I would breath in a deep breath and not hold it but let it fall away and continue this for 10 to 20 minutes as my guide taught me through a mantra of birth. Slowly I felt an energy building in my body. It seemed to get stronger with every breath. My body seemed to be stuck to the floor as if gravity got stronger and stronger with each breath that I took. My guide began to take me in my mind down from the earlier realm of existence into the clouds and down into the cradle of my first earthly home. I saw my parents and more importantly I knew who they are, their intentions and their dreams and hopes. And I could see it from a perspective of total unconditional love. That was the moment I knew that is all there is, only love. That we confuse love with all the problems and struggles of life. All the reasons we hold grudges and fears are just a childlike reaction to loss and pain. Essentially we're too ashamed and or proud to love others with power and conviction. I realized that I was joining right along on an assembly line of bitterness that I could turn sweet at any moment if I only act with the right formula of love and understanding. This place I went in this meditation was a new plane of existence for me. It was a place where I knew I would always be loved. When it was over, I hugged my guide and I ran outside to feel the sun and nature. Knowing how connected I was to everything, I was astounded at life and its potential. I saw an extremely tall and skinny pine tree outside and ran to it to hug it and give it this newfound energy, and with my ear against it creaked and I could feel its gratitude. I laughed, thinking, now I understand the term, tree hugger. That day I knew all the answers and also knew there were no answers, only life, love, and growth. Still, here I was, a man that had destroyed that knowledge, and it seemed like a different lifetime that I had experienced that amazing place. So, one morning, waking in pain and sadness, I grabbed a blanket and walked into the field. I had played in this field my whole childhood with my sister, brothers and cousins. It was a place of strength and great childhood memories. The best part was a huge and beautiful oak tree that sprawled about 7 to 5 feet in diameter. It was always green and full of life. I lay down just outside the shade of the tree to feel the spring sun and I began to breathe. I was alone, my back and leg were searing with pain, yet I knew to focus on the breathing. It took about 20 minutes of focused breath and suddenly, it started working. I was feeling the powerful surge of energy. I was excited and just hoping it would stay. So I did something to help my journey, and I believe it was the key to unlocking the knowledge I learned. I began to speak to the energy in my mind. I started with a simple question. Will you stay with me? In the silence I heard, I am always with you. I then asked, will you heal me? The answer was, you can and are healing yourself. Please understand that I audibly heard nothing. I did though indeed hear something. 3 words describe at best: feel, think, know. The knowing was the profound part of this moment. I could say I had no doubt the answers were coming and they were there for me. I continued on and then it said, use the Om. I knew this technique and immediately added it to the prayer or connection. Within moments a huge and powerful vibration began to radiate in my chest. When I had said before the gravity got stronger, this was 5 times that. I was pinned to the earth like a magnet. My chest was vibrating like a lawnmower inside and it was spreading to my arms and fingers. Suddenly I knew that this was healing me. And I asked, can I move this to my back and legs to be healed? Without another thought the vibration started moving to my lower back. With every breath and Om it got stronger and it settled into the middle of my spine like an electric massager was inside of my body. If I could gauge the power for you in simple terms, it was like putting your low back against a jacuzzi jet for hours. But it was inside and all through my body. I began to be able to shift and move it anywhere I chose. In an instant I knew I would walk away healed. So now I wanted to chat more. This great magic had healed me and I wanted more insight. I asked, what do you want from me? Answer, to create love, and in turn create more life. I asked, how do I do that? Answer, you already do. You already know this answer. You are love, so you have the eternal potential to create more and more love. You have been on a journey for times unknown. You are a warrior for love in this universe. You can do no wrong. You can only grow from the paths you choose. Then I said, but I am a liar and I have hurt people. Answer, you learn from this as well. Without your sins you would not grow. Your choices are always perfect. When you hurt others you hurt yourself and in turn they are on the same road to grow. The pain you have caused has brought you here. And isn't this perfect? Instantly, I knew the answer. I knew that my life was perfect. I knew that I was chosen for this life. I was given the people and circumstances to have an amazing and powerful life. I was being blind to the love that was all around me and that I could create love in any conversation and situation that life placed in front of me. All of my worries were so small in comparison to many others and I could be the smile or the inspiration to lift them to this place of love and forgiveness that I had found. I asked the question, what happens when we die? It felt like laughter started, and then in a song of thought. You are loved forever. You have nothing to fear, and with the vastness of this ultimate universe and with love in your thoughts, there is nothing you can do wrong. Then I was asked, now what will you do with all of this knowledge you have been given? I immediately felt human again, fallible and weak, afraid that I have not done enough. Then I heard, child, you're forgetting the last lesson. I knew in this moment that with loving intention there is no wrong, no bad choices. Only life and the growth you receive from living with love, compassion, forgiveness, and all the colors of love. I knew that the universe is really simple. There is no complicated answer. There is only cause and effect, and we play around with life as if it's hard and complicated, when the answers are all very simple and enlightening. It's as simple as energy with frequency ranges that vary beyond the physical world to the invisible world. We cannot see sound waves, but we know what they sound like. We cannot see the air but depend on it more than any energy in the universe. So, it's simple to know that there are energy levels and frequencies beyond our measurements and earthly science. It's simple to see through the Hubble telescope and see countless galaxies and possibly other universes, each with the potential for energy and life. At the end of this glorious moment in my childhood playground, I gave as much gratitude and love that I could as I said, Amen, and opened my eyes to the beauty of the earth. I stood up and I had no pain. Not a single thought of pain. I was amazed and in awe, yet I knew it would happen. Most of all, I felt thankfulness and hope for my future. That night I slept like a baby and dreamed of my grandfather that had passed away. It was not a dream, it was Visat. He embraced me in the front yard of his home. We wept as we hugged each other tightly and spoke of how much we missed each other. It was a dream that has come to me a few times and always lifts me back to that mysterious realm of love. Dreams have a different and more vivid power to them than meditation, and I believe it is because the unconscious mind can create images more easily than the conscious mind. This magical voice that I was blessed enough to connect with has a simple name. As you know, it is called God for some. It's called the universe by some. In a simple term, it is the intelligence of creation. The fuel that propels it throughout the many universes is love. The vessel that was created to perpetuate the intelligence is you and I. It is also in the earth, the trees and plants and elements. Every cell vibrates and bounces. The cells make mistakes and bad choices that become a mutation that creates new life and more life. Through a negative action, a series of positive reinforcements turn it into something good and useful to our world. From the simplest cell to the most complicated DNA, this system is in effect. You can look at your life in the same way. It's just that simple.